Do you think that glitter is a form of black magic? It gets everywhere and then it stays there, and even if you clean it, it just keeps coming back. So I think that it is a supernatural substance. Hello and welcome to the Path of Least Resistance. I'm Sai. Today we're going to go over a run I did using Spirit Blossom Yasuo against the 10-star Zoe adventure. So for Relics, I am using Perfect Hexcore, Spellweaver, Symphony, and Portal Pels. I tried to do this with less epic relics, and it did not work out well for me. A lot of people have also used Yasuo's Windblade, so if you have that, this is probably really good because you do recall a lot, so having that will help. And then I guess Spirit Glove if you do have that, and there's almost no reason why you would. Does give you overwhelm, which is actually really good. As much as we make fun of Spirit Glove, that is it's just good. I would also say that the Chosen by the Stars, Disciple of Shadows, and Wild Inspiration rune with Lux's Baton, where you reroll for the infinite, this is probably a better build. Like, legitimately, I think it'll go quicker, and it'll be stronger, and there will be less to think about and worry about. I think all of those will, yeah, just result in a better time. But this is what I did. I wanted to show a legitimate run, and so this is the build that we went for our Constellation. The only thing I have on him is the Star Bounty for plus 10 Nexus Health and plus 4 regen. I was struggling. I tried to do it without this. I think this run ends up not needing it, but I mean, it's right there. You may as well pick it up. And for our Rune Star, I'm using Wild Inspiration. I did try for a while with Time and Dedication, so the Craftsman Favor rune. And that was less good. You get a fleeting time and dedication at start, which does help you do storm conduit things, but Wild Inspiration was just better, which is fairly unsurprising. I don't remember what his... Yes, Windborn Remains is his legendary, so if you do have that, it's probably pretty good, since every unit you play should be reduced in cost. And yeah, so that is the setup. This is going to be a very long video. The run took me an hour and a half. So yeah, there's that. It is also very, very boring. So there are timestamps if you want to just check out the fights that you're interested in. Maybe watch the setup. They all are kind of the same as well. So yeah. Enjoy, I guess. I didn't. Alright, so here's the run. This one took me like 10-ish tries, I would say, which is more than the normal amount of tries. I did take Crush as our starting power. Crush gives Overwhelm, and Overwhelm is really good. So normally we wouldn't take a common because there's something better, but I don't know that there's something better. The thing about Yasuo is that he doesn't really have a way to close out games. So if you give him a way to close out games through something like Overwhelm, then you suddenly have one. Otherwise a fight like this is a problem. But I think he has the potential to be like extremely strong in other adventures, but because his whole thing is removing units and they get a full board of units every turn, your removal is much less good. So the general play pattern for him is that you want to just play a bunch of cards, the lower cost the better, and that's literally the whole thing. So every card you play reduces the cost of whichever thing is a storm conduit by 1. So the storm conduits are the things that look like the lightning bolts around the card. So you the goal is to play those, and we play those by playing other cards and reducing the cost of that card. Some cards say, you know, gather storm, and those will reduce things more. Also, every time you gather storm, you reduce the cost of Spirit Blossom Yasuo by 1. So your goal is to make him playable by round like 2 or 3. You do get beat up sometimes on the round 2 because you don't really do anything. I don't know. Because you don't really do anything, you get beat up. That's just the thing that happens. When you play Yasuo, he does Obliterate, And then if he's leveled up on attack, he obliterates again. So that part is nice. But again, if you can't remove enough units, then yeah, he just kind of does nothing. So overwhelm is really helpful for that reason. Highly recommend. And then when you draft, take low cost cards. Since you are using Portal Pals, you do want to be careful of your regions as well, since your Portal Pal units are based on your region. So if you have strong regions, then you'll get better units when you drop him. I took Diana as my support. She had Focusing Crystal. You play a ton of spells, so Focusing Crystal has the opportunity to make her giant. I think Samira would also be a good choice. Maybe a better choice, because I think you could like realistically play 6 attacks in a round, or 6 cards in a round, pretty regularly. And if you do that, then I don't know, you just play more things, and playing more things is the entire point of the deck. Oftentimes when I was playing, this took me like 10 tries, it felt like he didn't really have a win con, and I think that is true. I don't think he has a win con. You kind of build it eventually. Here I built it with my support by picking Diana, but I don't know, sometimes it's whatever you draw with Portal Pals, or maybe Found Fortune if you're using that instead. It just doesn't seem like he has a straightforward path to victory, and that is somewhat difficult to work through. You also have to play 100 cards around. That's just a thing that happens. And ideally you want to play them when they're at like 0 cost. Here I should have been playing the Inspiring Mentor, because it's reduced to 0 to just change out what card has Storm Conduit on it. And Communion of Spirits will let you manifest a card, and then you also make that a Storm Conduit, so you can make progress on multiple cards at once that way. Otherwise you don't really have a way to do that. And so yeah, we play a bunch of cards, we attack. See here, we're taking just way too much damage. You can recall. His champion spell is recall. And if the opponents recall you, that's actually pretty good, because you just get a replay. Since the cost reduction is permanent, he's free. You can roll into things like High Show, where you make cards free. So there's a lot of ways you can go. And yeah, it's just sort of ends up like kind of random. And I don't think it feels super good. We do get through this. Fae Bladetwirler is one of the strongest things you can just run into. Took the flight here because it costs 1, so lower cost, always better. At the item chest, I took Last Breath with doubling dice, because it would just let me play it more times. That seems like a good thing to do, versus, you know, playing it less times. And then every time you play it, obviously it gathers Storm as well, so it looked like a cheap way to gather a lot of Storm. I knew I was going to go all in on Diana here, so using Inspiring Mentor on her made sense to me. And yeah, and if you can recall, you can do it multiple times, which is also good. Spellweaver Symphony makes a card every round, or every time you have the attack token, so you're using that to gather more Storm. And it's also why you have Perfect Hexcore. It's literally just to have another card to play, and aside from that, we don't really care that it's giving keywords most of the time. It is nice that it gives keywords, because you can roll into lifesteal, but mostly, you know, you're not going to, so it's a little bit of a trap. And there are things you can do with, like cloning your cards and Storm Conduits to get more value out of it. So when you're playing Zephyr Sage, you can clone things with cost reduction, and then they will stay cost reduced. So you'll have 2 copies that are low cost, and you want to do that pretty much as possible. If you do it on something like Last Breath or whatever, you can get like a decent amount of value out of that. So try to be cognizant of what you are cloning and when. Another thing that is important is that you find a unit at round start, because if you don't have a unit, then you can't play Perfect Hexcore, and sometimes you can't play whatever Spellweaver Symphony makes. So like here we made Sprite Dance, and I cannot play Sprite Dance. And I cannot play Hexcore, because I do not have a unit on the board. So I have to play a unit. Ideally you want to play Diana with Nightfall, but I was unable to do that here. If we Sprite Dance, we're Sprite Dancing into nothing, which is, you know, bad because our board will be empty against Zed and Lulu, which you don't really want to do. You also don't want them to, you know, have a full board and gain a keyword, but kind of is what it is. Commune with spirits, I was told you probably don't want to hold in your hand on your mulligan, because if you do, then the card it creates is expensive, and so you have to play it before a different card will become a Storm Conduit. So basically until we play Smooth Soloist here, we're stuck with that as a Storm Conduit, and we're not going to be reducing the cost of our other cards. You will also notice that we did not draw our champion here. Happens. Here they rallied, and I was a little bit scared, because we have 21 hit points. I manifested Soul Gorger, and I figured I would play him with the cost reduction, because otherwise we can't play him. And we were able to give Diana Challenger, so we can attack and remove the Zed, which is the scariest thing on the board. And then when we take the rally hit, it's like not that bad. It's a little bit. We block as much as possible, which does allow us to live. Thought about shadow shifting just for the cost reduction, but Smooth Soloist is actually already at 0. It would reduce the cost of Soul Gorger, but that's fine. Because of the overwhelm we have, we were able to damage the Nexus, so we get extra cost reduction for playing Smooth Soloist, which means we can play a 0 cost card, reducing Soul Gorger to 0. And we play him as well. So this is just how all the games are. You just play a bunch of cards and then you either die or you win. So here, yeah, the 10 Nexus health obviously made a difference because I'm at 2 hit points. If I had 10 less Nexus health, I would be dead. But a lot of people who play Spirit Blossom champions have significantly more Nexus health than I do because they've bought into more of their powers than I have. So 73 is actually still relatively low. And here I needed to figure out a way to win. If we block like this, we lose the game because Lulu has quick attack, but this block was pretty good. I don't even think I took any damage at all. There's no impact on the board. So we're not going to die from the after hit. We got some life back. You have to be careful here not to trigger Nopify. So if you play a, I think 2 or less spell, you just kind of lose the game. So if I were to play Last Breath here, I would get hit with Pyromantic Wake and then eventually lose. I'm gonna end up playing it anyway. No, I didn't need to because I was able to Nightfall my way to victory. Focusing Crystal on a low cost unit was extremely good. Recalls are great. They let you, if you have your champion, just keep replaying him, and every time you replay him, you get to obliterate again, and then you just get rid of your most expensive cards. So you start with the 7 cost unit. That guy is not, he's okay, like when you play him, but since he costs 7, he can brick your hand, because you want to be playing as many cards as possible, and you want all of those cards to also be free. So he can just kind of brick your hand, so we get rid of him, and we also got rid of Cygnus, because Cygnus doesn't really do that much. play a card and boost it, and then we can't play our Spellweaver's card, which is a little bit unfortunate. Then yeah, just kind of do your best to stay alive and just play cards. We're triggering Nightfall here. We have a recall that we can use. Last Breath does make you a Poro, so you can use it to block. If you are confident that you can pull Lifesteal, you can take damage extra. I do like sometimes copying Perfect Hexcore because it gives you an extra keyword. If you do that, it's also free, so that's kind of nice. And we're going to Spell Thief, taking their card. We can gem for value. Then play Severum, so we can Lifesteal. Play Yasuo to remove one of their units. It's always the strongest one. And then you just kind of play whatever you pick up. This guy gives Overwhelm, which is kind of amazing. And we attack with everything. Old Timer has double attack, I don't think I realized that at the time. Also the thing you obliterate if you challenge it, they can just put another unit in front, it doesn't stop that from happening. Take Mr. Root, he's pretty good. He's low cost, draws a card. And at the shop, I took Vault Breaker here. I was hoping to pull a Vault Breaker Infinite. That did not end up working, but it was still kind of useful at times. And I skipped Boarding Party because the 1 damage isn't really that exciting. Could maybe reroll at a shop to try to get something that'll just win you the game. Because eventually you need to find something broken, otherwise, yeah, everything's kind of terrible. Like Concurrent Timelines, just because it's a card, don't actually want the effect of it. It also triggers Nightfall, so we can drop Diana. Then we can play Perfect Hexcore. And I figured once I got the Disciple of Duran down, it was like a 50-50 on whether she would die to the next unit that got played. But you can't do nothing, so what you gonna do? Could have recalled her here, but I wanted to preserve her keywords. And then the Bonecrusher gets played, and she does die. So we could recall with Last Breath here. That'll move the Storm Conduit and gather Storm. Which makes the next thing free. We play it, take something that costs 0. I forgot about Concurrent Timelines. Didn't realize that was just going to be a card and not a manifest. You can boost whatever. I guess Yasuo makes sense. Then we ran out of mana, and also they haven't played any spells, so we can't Spell Thief yet. You can play their curses at reduced cost with Wild Inspiration, so that part's kind of nice. Wild Inspiration is just good. Play Yasuo. Still need them to play a spell so that I can steal it. But they don't do that here. We attack. And we're doing 32 damage. 2 things are cursed, so it should be pretty winning here. Even if they block with both, we can Mystic Shot after. Pretty straightforward. What am I doing with my mouse? Just like slowly dragging it across the screen. Took Guiding Touch here, it has Storm Calling. Storm Calling will... Actually, I don't think it does reduce the cost of Yasuo. It makes a unit though. Hold It looked kinda good, thought about it. And I ended up going with Nature's Revenge because I didn't want to spend more rerolls there. Might have been worth spending more rerolls there and looking for more mana gems or just like duplicate, some better power. But I took Sapling because Sapling will at least give me something at game start to play. So we have a sapling and we can target it, and being able to target is good. Because otherwise sometimes we can't play Hexcore, and if we don't start our reduction chain, then we just kind of lose the game. So, and then I used Divine Draft on Irelia to do 1 damage, because the sapling can do 2 was the idea, but they attack, so she got +1/+1. We're able to drop Diana anyway, so Diana can remove her. So I attack, also attacking Azir, because if we can kill him eventually, that's really good, because it gets rid of the overwhelm. And here we're just playing cards. I don't have enough mana to play Last Breath, but if we could Last Breath here and we get rid of Azir, then we stop just an enormous amount of damage. I guess I was unsure of what to do in this position. I'm also unsure of what to do in this position. But we block most. I think I was saving the hit points, the Guiding Touch, so that I could use it on Diana. Don't think it does anything. Like, it's not enough to stop Irelia's damage. So I do end up dying, but I am able to steal their Flawless Duet. It's the most inexpensive card of theirs, aside from the swap Blade Surge, but I don't think we would be able to use it because we don't have an Irelia. And, you know, we're at 18 hit points. Not great. Play card. And here we Last Breath on Azir. It gets rid of the overwhelm so we can block. Then we can drop Yasuo, who will kill Irelia. Am I really creating this? That's crazy. So I got Diana down first to create hand space for portal pals. But I could have just honestly died on the spot there, so I don't know. Maybe that's still correct, maybe it's not. Play your 0-cost cards. I don't think there's a good reason to Last Breath here. Reduce the cost of Crescent Strike, we'll need it next round. And we are going to a next round. This will kill Azir. And if we challenge, then the barrier unit won't hurt us. Might not have been bad to attack with everything. Wasn't winning anyway, and I was concerned about not having enough blockers, but might have been okay. And our hand is just like way over full. I should have been putting buffs into Diana, not Aurelian Soul. Just didn't think about it. And here I wanted to get rid of Spell Shield so that I could recall on the elusive. The elusives are the only thing that can hurt us at this point, because Azir is gone. Then we attack and win the game. That was very close as well. I find double attack on Diana and I pick it up. So not drawing Yasuo is bad, but it's worse for me to not draw Diana. And I saw Joy Unbound and I picked it up. This is duplicate for our first fleeting spell. It also cost us no rerolls to grab, so I figured it was like good enough for the time being, and it will still, we can use it on Hexcore to double Hexcore, and that can roll us into keywords, which means we can roll into lifesteal a little bit better. And again, since it's fleeting, on fleeting cards, and we make fleeting cards every round, it's good. It does duplicate as well. So like here it plays twice, which brings Diana down to 0. And then we can Hexcore upgrade, and then play the Flight, and play Inspiring Mentor. Just play cards. And yeah, just keep playing cards. And then if it says more cards, you play more cards. Challenge away the big units because you don't want them to hit you later. You can also get rid of the challengers. Here I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Felt that way a lot in this adventure. I feel like I do not have a good understanding of Spirit Blossom Yasuo, so there's probably other people who could tell you a better way to play this champion. There are a bunch of different builds. This worked for me? I don't know. Your mileage may vary. We get Diana down, saving her from Get Excited. And you should pay more attention to what you're manifesting. I did not do a good job of that. Also, I shouldn't have played concurrent timelines here. It's actually much worse than just playing Hexcore. Should have Hexcored and then concurrent timelines. It's fine, you can play. Also, Risen Soul is really good, and I didn't play him nearly enough. He does grow every time you play a cost-reduced card, which is all of the time. So he should probably be the first card that you get down always, and I just didn't do that. But still, like I said, this was my 10th try. I feel like I was still learning. He plays so much differently than every other champion. Check Living Legends here. Get excited to get rid of some cards. And then Gem Dragon into anything that costs 0. That was actually concurrent timelines, and I thought it was a manifest. And it happened twice because I have 2 concurrent timelines, because I pressed the wrong card. Yes, let Aurelian Soul level up. And then we're just doing Aurelian Soul thing since we have him on the board. It's fine if we lose our guy whose name I don't even know. It's not Jagged Butcher. I'm not gonna find it. So the double concurrent timelines actually works backwards. So the first one you pick is the one that stays because the last one goes first. And we don't have the attack token, so I decide to end the round. And again, should be putting keywords on Diana. Don't know why I did it on Aurelian. After doing it enough times, kind of just get sleepy. I took the card there because it was inexpensive, and I think it creates another card that's also inexpensive. So that was the overall goal. Again, you're just trying to play infinite things. Alright, we discard a card. And we can Time Winder. So the idea was to remove a unit, and since it played twice, it worked. Kinda sometimes you get in a position where like you want to play your Storm Conduit, but your Storm Conduit is better played at a different time, and I feel in those positions it's still probably better to just play your Storm Conduit, even if it's doing nothing. Because it moves it around, gives more cost reduction, and otherwise you're just sitting on cost reduction and like that's your entire kit, so if you lose out on that, it's not very good. Double Hexcore there, and we should be dropping Mr. Root. Can block with Mr. Root. They only have 1 mana, so it's probably fine to block with Diana. They could have potentially had like Bloody Business or something. So you want to make sure that you don't get hit by that. Play Mentor. Play Mentor. See, like there, right now we really want to be using Pale Cascade, but we also want to trigger Nightfall before we use it, and we want to use it on our attack turns, not our defense turns. So you do end up with some awkward gameplay. Here we drop the Mind Splitter. My idea was to stun the 2 overwhelm units, and then we can remove the main guy with Diana, because she has incredible stats at this point. And because Diana is injured, I decided to last breath here. Everything else is stunned anyway from the Mind Splitter. Drop Lunari Priestess. And then we should be able to win the game right here. Don't have lifesteal, but you know, getting out of games seems more important than trying to milk them. Take more Pale Cascade, it's just a really good card, especially with Focusing Crystal. And we get rid of Shades of Battle's Pass. We're almost never going to use that. And we go into Draven Jinx. So, completely truthfully, I had recorded this but I muted myself. But since I can now do basic editing, I can just insert this clip. And it'll be like I never messed up in the first place. Isn't technology amazing? It is. We Nopify here, getting rid of the Get Jinxed, which is actually really good because it also stops the Slipstream. They're out of mana, so they're not going to play their Death Rocket. Hexcore upgrade on Diana. And I thought about killing Jinx here. It is a trade. I would lose Diana if I do that. So I decided not to, because I was afraid that they would just play second Jinx and then they'd get another Death Rocket. And that seemed like a bad thing to happen. We find Recall, or we get hit with the Augment her power and then we can Recall to keep her alive. I think I checked how much damage it does, and it was too much even for a Focusing Crystal. They did run out of cards, so they got a second Get Excited, or not Get Excited, Super Mega Death Rocket. So I should probably wait for them to play the Mega Death Rocket here, but I end up using Get Excited because I thought that it was a fleeting spell that you got from Spell Thief, and it would play twice with the Joy on Bound, and it's not. It's not a fleeting spell, so we didn't actually end up killing Draven here, and it leaves us pretty weak. But since I play a House Spider, it gives us room to drop a Blade Squire, which gives us at least 1 blocker, and you know, blocking 10 damage is pretty good. So we do that. You don't want to kill the House Spiders, because if you do, you kind of lose the game. Use Keen Blade Fragment just to play cards. Our whole thing is just playing cards. Get Zephyr Sage on Pale Cascade. Drop Yasuo. We're not super concerned about lifesteal here. They steal our Yasuo with Sunken Temple so we can replay, but our hand is full, so we want to get the Grandfathers out of our hand, because I was so concerned about doing that. I didn't check to see that on what unit I was using it, so I used it on a sapling, which not helpful. We randomly pull Mordekaiser, and we use him to re-summon Yasuo, which obliterates another unit. Hexcore on Diana, and I used Trouble Bubble here, not sure why. Play Grandfather again, this time targeting units that make sense. And we could just attack here. Play Inspiring Mentor, I guess. I think the attack would have been fine. Maybe we're trying to get Mina to be playable. We drop her, recalling the last 2 units. And we attack, not quite winning. So we Pale Cascade again. Should have been on Diana. I think I thought about it after, or that was the position Diana was in before we attacked. And so I thought it was going to be on her, and I didn't check before I clicked accept. Then we attack him in the game. Need to get better about muting myself when I'm drinking water. Take Duskbringer. It's such a long game. We get rid of the Blade Squire, which I think is fine. And Lunari Priestess is also bad. I like Zephyr Sage. I don't know if he's actually good. I also don't know if Last Breath is actually good in the deck. I feel like because it's so expensive, removing it might be actually correct, but recalls are really good, so it's iffy. But recalls are also less good when things have Spell Shield, which happens very often in this adventure. So I high note here to trigger Nightfall, but if I had a better way to do it, I probably should have done that instead, so that we could double up on Hexcore upgrade. But whatever. Cards are cards. Take Ladros here as a way to late game win the game.
I cannot turn back. I will be heard.
And we attack.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Ass. We have recall, so if they challenge Diana, we can just remove her. And then I made sure that I killed a unit so that they would not have 6 at round end. And we did not have enough mana to replay Diana, but it's fine. So Trail of Evidence there is wrong. We should play Arisen Soul. Mr. Root's fine. Arisen Soul is better. I really did not value that guy as much as he is good. He is very good. Every time you play a card, basically he gets +1/+1. So just not having him on the board is... I don't know. I already figured out that that's how he worked, and for some reason I just didn't... It just like doesn't register in my brain unless there's a Storm Conduit to play that card, but like it's the card you should be playing and then growing with all your Storm Conduits.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Hail Cascade. Hail Cascade. Trail of Evidence. Attack. It's not quite winning. I don't think we have anything better. We do get hit with Bloody Business here. This is roughly fine. We don't super hate when Yasuo dies. We can also Spell Thief the Bloody Business now. Hexcore upgrade. Don't really need lifesteal right now, but you know, never hurts.
I need just a moment.
And we take Bloody Business. Or it's not Bloody Business, it's Swirling Death. Pass the turn. Play Hexcore, attack and win the game. took Disciple of Duran as Poro. It's a really good card because it creates another card, and then it reduces the cost of a card, so you get a lot of cost reduction off Disciple of Duran, and making it cost less is good. I don't have any money there, which I realized before I spend my rerolls. I don't always do that. Sometimes I don't notice that I don't have money and I spend a bunch of rerolls on powers I can't buy. So I was pretty happy that I noticed that time. We did pull a Pale Cascade here, but we did not draw Diana. Recall? Hexcore? Recall's better. Alright, we shift the Storm Conduit. We draw a bunch of cards. Play some cards. Attack here. Seems like a thing I would do. Should have attacked with the sapling and challenged one of the Poros. I think I was just concerned about finding Diana and didn't realize that was a thing I could do. Block as much as possible. I think this gives us a rally too. And we can definitely play enough cards at this point to get Yasuo on the ground. Advanced intel. Drop Yasuo.
Destiny waits.
Hexcore upgrade. What do we spell thief? Blade's Edge. Blade's Edge is cool here because we can Blade's Edge our Disciple of Duran, and then that'll give us rally. I have rally. We can just attack. Okay, using on the Poro. That's fine too. I don't think I realized that I had rally, I guess. I think I knew it at the time and then forgot it later. Maybe I thought it was a bad attack. I think it was fine. Should have attacked is the takeaway here. Probably should have attacked and then killed the Disciple of Duran and attacked again. Although with the landmark up, that's, you know, less important.
One blade, one purpose.
I don't get that challenge. Maybe I was trying not to get hit by the lifesteal guy, but I don't know. I don't really understand. Recall. To recall Yasuo. Okay. We don't do that. Reduce the cost of Guiding Touch. And we should be playing Last Breath because it's a Storm Conduit. This is fine. Hexcore upgrade. Commune. Again, we should always be playing this Last Breath. The fact that we're not is... it's definitely questionable. Alright, we finally play it.
Welcome to try.
And we get a nice full block here. Play Winding Light. Play High Note. Removing 2 units. Definitely attack here, right? Take High Show. I was trying to heal Yasuo so that he could block again because Reckless Trifarian's thing is damage units can't block. And we don't need to challenge Raza because we're going to obliterate her. We could and should send him back to hand. Should not have let him stay on the board. Hexcore. Now Last Breath. Good job. Unit dies, it's fine. Play the Storm Conduit. Play Time Trick. Take Disciple. Spell Thief for Blade's Edge. Now we have an attack here.
Life
Back with everything is good. We do get hit with the Death Lotus. But it's fine. Copy Disciple, play Disciple, kill Disciple. And since nothing is elusive, we can attack and win the game. Don't realize that we can attack and win the game. But we could attack and win the game, really at any time.
Some things never dull.
It's fine. It was a long day. Take more Guiding Touch, although Shield Vault probably fine here. We're having trouble grabbing Diana, and that's a way to draw a unit, so could have helped. Then we go into Teemo and Swain. Starting with 3 Disciples is not ideal. And Aloof Travelers comes down and removes our Yasuo from our hand. I don't think I realized it at first. But yeah, losing your champion just immediately is bad. So, do our best. Should play Hexcore here. And then I prepped into Hexcore upgrade because I didn't realize Last Breath was a spell at the time. I remember thinking after I pressed the button that that's a thing I could have done. But I don't know, something about the way it looks just doesn't trigger in my brain that it's a spell. Try to stay alive. Not working all that well. So my idea here was to block the Aloof Travelers to draw a card when they summon off Deathless. And it worked, except we also discarded it. So maybe not the best of plans. Drop Mr. Root. Get stunned, and we're gonna get stunned a bunch more times. Actually shouldn't have played cards here until they're done playing all of their spell slingers. We did get to recall Swain though, which is actually pretty nice. It gets rid of their Grand General's counterplan version. Lead and follow probably would have been better on Mr. Root, but since they hit Mr. Root with a Mystic Shot anyway, I guess it was the correct choice. And with Swain not on the board, we don't get stunned every time we do anything. Play the Flight. Play the Mustache Poro. Or not, I guess. And we do not have a lot of hit points. New Swain comes down. So there is a path to not dying here. I don't know if there's a path to winning here. And the path is that we play Pale Cascade and we draw Last Breath. But every time we play Pale Cascade, if we fail, we take a bunch of damage and our unit gets stunned. So I give up. But that's what revives are for, and we go again. This time we draw Diana, which I think might still get discarded off Aloof Travelers. But they mercifully do not play it. play Mr. Root, partially because he's a Storm Conduit, and partially because we were looking for a passing move. Also, I think to trigger Nightfall. I Pale Cascade there so that I can double Hexcore on Diana. And we should play our Storm Conduit. We make more units and we play them too. Winding Light is pretty good. Gives our units +2/+2 or whatever. And I think if I'd killed Swain, that wouldn't have been terrible for me. Hexcore upgrade. We would have been missing our champion after, and that might have been rough. Can we just block as much as possible? You don't want to block with Diana because she's going to get hit with a Raven Army, and then she's going to die. And yeah, you want to kind of avoid that as much as possible. Pick up advanced intel. So we do have a problem of Swain is leveled, so all of our stuff is getting stunned. I still decided to go all in on Diana. And we play the Winding Light. Yes. And that lets us kill Teemo. And we can draw a card off of the Flight. Spell Thief for Ravenous. And I can kill a unit with Ravenous, which will prevent them from getting keywords. I also noticed that they don't have a sufficient amount of mana to replace Swain, so we just send him back. We also send back the Leviathan, that's a little more questionable. Guess we didn't want to take 3 damage at round start, which is fine. We do get Yasuo, which lets us obliterate the Leviathan. They attack. You can block with anything. Can't talk this long. It's terrible for my voice. There's like a hole in my throat, I think. Or like a cut, something like that. The doctor said something, but I wasn't paying too much attention. Which, you know, I should have been, but I wasn't. I tried to. But he said there was something wrong with my throat, basically. And so talking a lot is actually kind of painful. But it's fine. It's only a little bit painful some of the time. Should have recalled Yasuo there and replayed him. That just would have been the smarter thing to do. But it's fine, we attack and we win the game. Decent round. Didn't get our champion discarded. It's the main thing you're looking for. Shadow Totem or Thieves' Gloves. I just chose Shadow Totem because there's a lot of control that happens. So I figured as long as one Diana was able to do something, then we could work with that. And I also took Rock Hopper here for the same reason as the Sapling. I mean, also because it was just a power that was available. But having something extra to target is good. And sometimes, you know, your sapling gets removed, and so having the backup is good. Also, if you get something like Blade Surge or whatever, the one that swaps the two. I think it is Blade Surge. Yeah, if we have Blade Surge, now we have 2 units and we have a target to use that on. So here my idea was to attack Poro King. We do create Unleash Frenzy from Gifts from Beyond, which sometimes just happens. I thought they were going to play Poro Stacks and they didn't. Still, they had second Poro King in hand, which, you know, not ideal. Drop Duskbringer. Drop Inspiring Mentor. Steal the Council's Call. Again, all cards are good cards. Block as much as humanly possible. And we recall. Should have played the Hexcore, because now we have nothing to play it on. And so that just went to waste. And I thought about it too. I just thought I could get another thing on the ground for some reason. But I could not. Play Arisen Soul because it's good. We finally remember that. Commune with spirits into the Leviathan. Time Trick. Taking Diana, which is our win condition. And we get her twice, which is really nice. Hexcore upgrade. Nope. Storm Conduit first. That's actually not going to help us that much. I took Cytherea. I don't know if Cytherea is better than Crown Guard. They're both pretty good. Freed up hand space there, and then dropped Yasuo. And then I drew a card for some reason. It just kind of does that. I'm sure there is actually a reason, but I'm not aware of what it is. Attack? Probably. I'll look it up. While I'm deciding what to do. Play Disciple, play Preparation. Can't play anything else. Should still attack. Okay. Not the attack that I was thinking of, but it's fine. Those units were big, they would have killed Yasuo anyway. We can play Aether Fiend here and remove one of the challengers. Either remove challengers or overwhelm. Preferably one with both, but the one on the board right now does have Spell Shield, so can't do anything about that. Block as much as possible. I remember thinking at the time that this fight was going to be very hard because the first fight was very hard. And this one, you know, tends to follow suit with that. If you have troubles on fight 1, probably have troubles on Affectionate Poro later. And we actually need space for Diana, but I don't think we have any. So I did play Mind Splitter here. And you can hit the ones with Spell Shield with Mind Splitter, because the play effect doesn't care, it's not a skill. And then I decided to just play Diana anyway. The path was actually you play Zenea overwriting something, and then Zenea dies, and that would have given you the extra spot, I think. But maybe that would have still only been one spot. Zephyr Sage onto Pale Cascade, makes sense to me, and we do it again. You can play Trail of Evidence now. And Violent Discord, removing Spell Shield.
Moonlight guide me.
I think we're trying to find a way to do damage. But it's kind of hard because our units are giant. And we do get Diana high enough to survive. Also removes a unit, does a ton of damage. Not quite enough to win though. So we do have to survive this round as well. I don't know why I hexcored into the Arisen Soul. Diana's still the best option. Cytherea to double our stats. Now we are much better at surviving. Capture their strongest unit. Or the one with the most overwhelm. Really either choice is fine. And we block. And we block. Don't block with the Mind Splitter is smart. I let Diana die here. I don't think I noticed that she was going to die there, or I would not have done that. Why does he sometimes draw cards when you play him? One of you will tell me, I'm sure. Now we have plenty of power attacking in the game. Again, you could stall for lifesteal. Seems like a bad plan.
Life and death on a blade's edge.
Night descends.
Just getting through it is at least, you know, a win is a win. You'll figure it out later. You have a lot of regen because you're Spirit Blossom champion. Took the Darkened Fan because it was the least expensive card. Also has the potential to give you lifesteal, either if you play as Praw, which we'll never do, or from the Dragon Lane summon, which I also kind of mess up all the time. So, Tick Sorcery just gives us, you know, 3 mana to spend. Lets us play Commune with Spirits on round 1 with, you know, for free basically. So that's nice. Also makes Guiding Touch less bad to play. Makes it easier to play Last Breath. It is just good. Commune with Spirits into Karina? Play Hexcore. See, I remembered Arisen Soul was a card there. Heal up a little bit. Take the other heal. Take Eldred. Eldred gives your Nexus tough, it's not bad. Put some Puff Caps in the deck. And we can also draw a card. Could play the Dusk Petal too. I think it would actually be fine. Also could have attacked there and killed the Lonely Poro, which would have prevented them from getting keywords. And so definitely should have done that, definitely didn't. Here we need to figure out how to survive. I guess I went with don't worry about it, it's fine. That is a strategy. And we block. And we block. And we block. And I did Last Breath here. I knew it wasn't going to recall the unit because of Spell Shield. I knew that at the time. That wasn't a mistake. I did it just to move it off of the Gather Storm track. Play our cards. Probably should have played Guiding Touch before I played the Empyrean, but it's fine. Take Commune. Took Necrotic Arachnoid for the drain. I always do that, and then I'm always really disappointed when he ends up not draining anything. Guiding Touch. Taking Commune with Spirits. Took She Who Wanders. Commune with Spirits. Taking Ladros. And our hand is way over full. We're just burning cards. Play Arisen Soul. Recall the guy that is basically free. Replay him. Let's draw a card with the Pale Cascade. That's what I would do here. Oh, we also burnt our Hexcore because we didn't have hand space. Attack? Can't really attack with Yasuo here. Did it anyway. It didn't block. Don't know why. And I boosted the Dragon Lane for a little bit of extra healing.
Together, we can do this.
Drop Ladros. I don't know if that was worth it. Could have saved the mana for Last Breath next round. Spell Shield eats the Sunburst, thankfully. We Hexcore. Reduce the cost of Last Breath. Recall. Idea was just to do it again. But we do last breath here. Play Disciple. Prep on Vault Breaker. Nope, on last breath. Guess we were worried that this would still go long. And we burnt another Hexcore from lack of space, which is bad. We almost certainly would have gotten lifesteal at this point. Attack with everything, win the game. Again, we were just trying to get out of the games. But ending with less hit points than you start with is not what you want to be doing. Take Heavens Aligned. Makes cards, it's inexpensive. For a power, I took Phalanx, that seemed really good. We have a lot of ways to target our units, and giving them barrier is strong, and we go into the Dread. Reason I went to Mordekaiser versus Elder Dragon is we do need a board, and if we get gloomed enough times, we're not going to have one. So, like, for example, just this round start, we would lose both of our units and not have anything to play. And then when we play a unit, they'll play a unit, and we will lose it again. So I felt like it made more sense for being able to actually play the game to go to Mordekaiser versus Elder Dragon. There, I figured out all the words. Play the Terror. Copied the Deathgrasp Cultist. Really good for them, figured it might be okay for us. And we can recall a unit here. Or Hexcore. And then recall a unit. Nope, we play the Darkened Fan. I mean, that's fine. I'm not mad about it. But we should be recalling a unit, probably.
I cannot turn back. Night descends. I will be heard.
And Diana lives here because of barrier. And we get rid of the Deathgrasp Cultist, which is honestly maybe their strongest card. We do find lifesteal, we drop Yasuo, and we should be recalling him too. Play a Malphite for stun. Play Zolani. Play the Darkened Fan. Play the Flight. Good recall. You can do it next round too, it's fine. Recalled the Flight. Not that that wasn't good. There was no reason to do that. They should be recalling Yasuo. Hexcore on Diana. And we Sprite Dance, I think? Yeah. I sometimes remember things that I've done in the past. Check to make sure our hand wasn't full. Play the Terror. Play the Yasuo. Does he draw a card when you play it? You must have a draw a spell when you play. He's picking that up from somewhere. There, I forget that I can lifesteal for 1, or I guess 0 maybe. Because of the landmark. Doing 2 damage gets reduced to 0, so probably not that big of a deal that we forgot. Hexcore. Could Guiding Touch and look for Last Breath. Or we could just eat the damage, I guess. Oh, we do have barrier. That's fine. Block, block, block. I don't entirely know what we're trying to accomplish here. Overall fine though. Diana has grown big enough to win the game. And I do think that your support is going to be pretty important when you're playing the game, because you don't super have a win condition in this deck. You just kind of eventually get there by playing a bunch of cards, and those cards should have value, where Commune with Spirits will eventually drop you something like Otacon, and then you can win the game that way. You do need to be a Noxus to do that, but, you know, some combination of cards will win you the game eventually if you play enough of them. But yeah, having an actual win condition built in, though, is good, and Diana was mine. So here, I figured if I rerolled enough, we would find something nice, and so I just wasted a bunch of rerolls for no reason. I should have known the Aid of Spirit wasn't going to actually help. If you do get the one that charms, it actually does nothing because their board is full, so you can take that. Is one thing you can do. And we get to Mordekaiser and Morgana. So I was afraid here of getting hit with, like, Hate Spike and Death's Grasp. But fortunately, it didn't really happen. So they do have two of the rally guys, and so I was a little bit terrified here because I basically have nothing going for me, and they have two of the guys that rally. So the Ceaseless Sentry has Rally on Death. If they hit it with Mordekaiser, they can go infinite because he just makes a new one every time, and then he eats it with Corrupted Star Fragment. So if that happens, it's really bad, but that didn't end up happening, so pretty good, pretty good. They had a very high chance of hitting that too. They play spells, so we can Spell Thief. I took Dark Binding. Dusk Petal Dusk, just to play a card. Take Recall, take Mahira. Mahira can curse enough that maybe we can do something with that. Don't recall him, don't recall him. Play Yasuo instead. Yes. Okay. So we're passing so that we can play him on the start of the next round, where it matters a little bit more. But I don't think it would have been terrible to remove. But I mean, it's fine. It's not like... It might have been better to do it this way. Make sure we can hold all the cards that we're getting. Play Fury Horn Crasher. Play Yasuo. Hexcore upgrade. So I didn't want to do it on Yasuo because I plan on recalling him again. Guess I could have just recalled him ahead of time. Anyway, we're boosting our lifesteal unit so that we can steal life. Our opponent has no cards. Here I accidentally sent that thing to attack. I pull it back. Play Yasuo again. Okay, play Diana first, sure. Then we play Yasuo. Vault Breaker on our lifesteal guy. Okay. Hexcore on Diana. Then we can Vault Breaker on Diana. Recall their Ceaseless Sentry. They'll play it again, but it's fine. We're just using it for cost reduction. It's kind of a dangerous card to use for cost reduction. Probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, we're just playing cards. Play all the cards. Guy's name Herald of Celestial Convergence. That's a cool name. Back with everything. We're gonna obliterate the Sentry, so now all of their rally guys are dead. And we just need to survive. They play Tarash, and I think I last breath it. And we stun the other biggest one. And Mordekaiser here got overwhelm. It's a little bit unfortunate. Block as much as possible. Hexcore upgrade. Play Duskbringer. I could play the Petal too. Like, fine. Saving last breath for next round. This makes more sense since they're gonna fill their board anyway. Play Arisen Soul. That guy can grow big. Play Shackles. I did not respect Arisen Soul enough. I think that might actually be why the game's hard. I think that guy is really good. Not respecting him was probably just really bad. Took Fair on, maybe Decimate could be a win condition if we end up short. Should it? Actually, that's fine. Diana's Pale Cascade, it's as good as Vault Breaker. Attack and win the game. And if they had done anything to disrupt us, we had a lot of ways we could go. Take Dustbringer because it's inexpensive. And that's Stargazer. Blighted Blessing is fine. I thought about taking it. It gives us another copy on a spell, so like Hexcore would play 3 times, which, you know, is 3 Storm Conduits. Or Gather Storms, I guess. But I have a lot of rerolls, so I figured I could find something better. Deceptively Deadly I would have taken if it was the upgraded version, maybe. And we see Bound Wings too, but I don't know how much I actually target enemy units. I target my own units a lot, but really not enemy units. So Bound Wings didn't really matter. And then I see Ambessa's 6-star, and yeah, I mean, take that. That one's pretty good. We are almost at the end. Which is good because my throat is very dry. Play Blade Surge. Just do it. Okay, so we don't want to play it. It's not actually Blade Surge, it's Syncopation. But we don't want to do it because if we do, it's the fleeting spell and it'll play twice. And the card we want to play twice is Hexcore Upgrade. Okay, so we do that. And then now we can Syncopation. I forgot I had Phalanx, otherwise it would have been correct to target the Rockhopper. And there I think I just misclicked. Because the buff should have gone on real Diana instead of fake Diana. And I knew that. I think I just honestly just hit the wrong button.
I cannot turn back.
Because we have... What am I looking at? Oh, okay.
I will be heard.
The Ambessa 6-star, we're just going to kill the 15 power. And then because of barrier, we can challenge the other things. Actually, I don't think it would have mattered because they'd had less life than we have power. But whatever. Perfect Hexcore. Drop Yasuo. So now our Obliterates are in a really good spot. Play Zanea. Spell Thief, first Trouble Bubble. Vault Breaker to kill. I think that would have been fine. I guess we decided against it. I think it would have been fine. I was actually kind of impressed by myself for deciding to do that, and then I didn't do that. And again, clearing their board, not actually super helpful, because they just make a bunch of units, so... Stun 1. Hexcore. We have Syncopation as well. And I remember to give multiple things barrier. I copied the Vault Breaker, which honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. I think Disciple of Duran into prep on last breath and then copying last breath was probably the best choice. But, you know, I don't think that much. We attack. Heavens aligned. Copying last breath. This gives us a recall. And we did pull lifesteal here, so things are pretty good.
Leave me no recourse.
Yes. So here I recalled the Sparkle Fly. I knew they had enough mana to replay it, but everything else has Spell Shield. And then I figured if they replayed it, I'd just recall it again. Attack and win the game. You have double obliterates. Wait, do they both obliterate the same target? Let's watch that again. No. Where were we? Sparkle Fly. Sorry. Sure, that's disorienting. I'm still not sure what happened. I'm gonna watch it again. Okay, so it just looks like the animations overlap, so it looks like it, but it does kill 2 units. Double time launch on Yasuo sounds great. Also, never hate having more copies of our champion. And we go into Heart of the Fluft. We are so close. Thought about playing tag out here. It's like not a bad choice. Play Disciple? Question mark? And Mentor? So the idea here was that we had to make Diana a Storm Conduit, and we failed to do that. So I recall the Sapling. Replay the Sapling. We could last breath here, but we can also just attack and kill it. So we play our coin, drop Diana, Hexcore upgrade, and then we attack. Probably. Nope, we heal nothing. Taking Yasuo. I didn't actually check there, I just picked whatever card I saw. Then we attack with everything, because we're just freeing up space on the board. Big guy dies anyway, it doesn't really matter. As long as the Diana doesn't get killed by it, we are fine. So here I figured we would have to Zephyr Sage into Last Breath to stop the other Heart of the Fluft, and instead they just attack. So it's fine. And then we can pass here, or we can still Zephyr Sage onto Last Breath. That's like a reasonable option. Okay, we copied Tiana instead. That's fine, gives us double rally. You can play Zolani. You can play Mahira. Cursing. Spell Thief, our own Poro snacks. We're not doing anything with that, but it's fine. And I do Last Breath here, just because I wanted the Tianas to get Storm Conduit. Hexcore. So the idea here is, if Yasuo dies, we just replay him. And they play Heart of the Fluft, and we immediately obliterate it. Cosmic Inspiration, and we rally. In this attack we double obliterate, there's only one unit, so we win the game. We're at less life than I'd like to be at this point. Going into Zoe. And mana deposit seemed fine, even if it doesn't actually do anything. Still an extra copy of Yasuo, which is fine. Double Yasuo, double Diana is okay. It's not the worst thing. Play Heaven's Aligned here, and we drop the Stygian Onlooker. Basically a passing move. We can play Diana here, and then if it dies we play a second Diana. But she doesn't, they play Chip. So here I didn't want to give them the priority back, so as long as I play spells, it's fine, but I ended up giving them priority. And they ended up doing nothing with it, so it's fine. I know they have cards, I don't know what those cards are. Minimorph maybe? Seems like the most likely thing is that they have Minimorph. But we could play a lot of Pale Cascades because we got doubling dice. And here I need to play Mr. Root. Not playing it is just hurting my hand space. Okay, so here was my thought. If I doubling dice on Pale Cascade, I could get that guy big enough to kill Zoe. But then I didn't doubling dice Pale Cascade. Not sure if I could have. I think my hand was just full. Play Mr. Root. Play Yasuo for free. Which obliterates Poro King. It does really seem likely that they have Minimorph here. This attack will kill Chip and Zoe. Well, I killed the one. Weird. Oh, whatever. Anyway, we ran out of cards. Well, mostly hand space we ran out of. Get hit with Buried in Ice. That's fine. We recall. I was looking at my options. Recall Diana. Make sure that she goes to hand. We have plenty of Yasuo to replay, so it doesn't matter that he's gone. Also kills the Poro King. We can block Shen. Or I guess a random Poro. Should have killed the random Poro, probably. Play cards that trigger Storm Conduits. Play Disciple. Prep on Recall, really? Okay, sure. Then we pass. So the idea is pretty fleshed out here. We're going to play something and then play Diana. We're not playing something first? Play literally any card. Thank you. And they used all their mana, which is really nice of them. Now we have nothing to worry about. Play Diana. Hexcore. And then we can also... Cataclysm was wrong there, we should have taken the boat. Just make Diana huge. Then recall Yasuo. Replay him. And then Mina to just recall more, they have no mana. And then this should just win the game. We have many sufficient damages.
The promise of a new moon upon you, Bloom Tender. Cloaked in silver light. I cannot turn back.
A little slow to realize we have lethal, but you know, it's fine. We're looking at our cards, not their life. And that's the run. So, obviously you can see that it is really built off the back of Diana having Focusing Crystal, so the fact that we could get her on the board super early, and then just dump stats into her was really good. And we also, like, the Joy on Bound helped a lot to get us a lot of cost reduction from map 2 on, and sorcery and out of the way, always good. So like I said, I don't think I played particularly well. I think Arisen Soul is still something we could have done better on, but it's fine. Like, overall, it's fine. So, that's the run. As I said, it took me 10 tries, and I did have to buy the extra health in order to get through. And I ended up using more epic relics than I was happy with, but someone else did it with Windblade, Grand General's Counterplan, and Perfect Hexcore. So at 3 stars, didn't even have a rune. So I mean, it's certainly possible, but I couldn't figure it out. I don't think Yasuo's playstyle really synergizes with how my brain works, and it was very difficult for me to play. Anyway, this has been a very long one, so I'm going to end now. That is all for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.